Okay, so a pleasure for me to introduce you to Vihaan. Vihaan, as some of you would know, um, is one of the first recipient of Cuckoo Hero Award that we launched this year. So for me, it's a pleasure to host him today for the call. Vihaan is 16 years old. He's a student of Shriram School and he is the founder of One Step Greener. Yes, I'm sure many of you have heard about One Step Greener. He's an avid bird watcher, wildlife photographer. He debates, he's a soccer player, and he has a keen interest in current affairs as well. So he is the first and only Asian to have won the prestigious Children's Climate Prize in 2019 in Sweden, and the Global Social Leaders Award in UK has been awarded to him among some of the other prominent awards that he has, So many of these awards and are for his commitment to the environment. He works. His works are are published in many magazines, newspapers, Down to Earth, Times of India, Financial Express, Business Line, and Denak Bhaskar have recognized his efforts. So today, Rehan is taking us to a place where I have not been. So I'm really excited to hear his talk. And let's hand the stage to him. Rehan, thank you so much.
Thank
Really excited to travel to the Blackbuck National Park with you. Over to you.
Yeah, so as Janata Aunty said, that she's probably not visited this park, and I think a lot of you have also not visited this park because it's kind of a unique park where if you're looking for it, you'll find it. If you're not looking for it, you'll just pass it on the highway. So it's located in Velavadar, Gujarat. So it's only about it's just vast grassland. So it's a lot of people are reminded of the Serengeti plains or the Masai Mara plains when they go to the park the first time. There's just golden brown grass all around, and it's just endless for miles. But so it's really a unique spot because it's the only grassland that's protected in India. So it's situated 2 to 3 hours outside Ahmedabad. It's in the district of Bhavnagar, and the closest airport is Bhavnagar. So, and the flights, you can only go to Bhavnagar through Bombay. So, it's always better to go through Ahmedabad. So that's a 2 to 3 hour drive. So it's not very long. It's about 35 square kilometers. So it's one of the smaller parks in our country. And it's, as you can see on the map as well, it's quite tiny. You wouldn't expect it to be this small, especially because of the huge amount of deer population, as well as blackbuck population, as well as other animals that it has. So it was created in 1976, which is a little later than a lot of the main parks, because this used to be a hunting ground, and I'll get back to that a little later. So the best time to visit, in my opinion, is October to November, going on to a little bit till February, because from October onwards, you'll start having migratory birds come in, and you have the harriers, because it's a harrier roosting site. I'll talk about that a little later as well. And because of that, you'll have a huge amount of harriers just coming into the park, and it's really, for anyone who loves raptors like me, it's just amazing. So there are two parts to the park. Now, if you can see the map, the red tinted part is the park. So you can see there's farmland all around it, and then the park is in the middle. If you can see, there's this little highway that there's a little green belt that runs towards the end of it. Below that, if you can see, that area is the south side of the park. The north side has most of the mammal population, most of the grassland, and the south side has more of the saline plains as well as marshy plains. So this is a very, very good spot for water birds and flamingos, pelicans, etc. Up the north side of the park, you have a lot more. If you're birding, you have a lot more of the raptors. You have a lot more of birds that like shrubland, simply because it's so vast. Raptors love that. So there are a unique fact about it is that it looks like there's only one species of golden grass all throughout, but there are actually 39. So that's quite interesting. So if you can see the picture at the bottom, that shows how the vista is. So you have low-lying trees at the back, in clusters, and then you have vast grasslands there, and then you have a lot of black bucks. So it was, in the beginning, the private grasslands and the herding grounds for the Maharaja of Bhavnagar, who had, who used to raise his, he used to let his cattle go and graze here. So it was his private grazing grounds for his royal cattle. And he also used to hunt with his famous cheetahs. Now, the blackbuck is so fast. In fact, it runs at 80 kilometers an hour, and it is the 5th fastest land animal. And in India, when cheetahs used to be there, when the Maharaja used to hunt, the only thing that could catch a blackbuck was a cheetah. So that's quite interesting, because once the cheetahs were done, then the blackbucks didn't really have natural prey. But we as humans, natural predators, and we as humans just acted as the predators and reduced their populations exponentially. So post-independence, a lot of the grassland was converted into farmland. So as you can see in the map earlier as well, a lot of it was just turned into farmland. So, and it's really a really narrow pocket for the blackbucks. So the government also introduced free gun license. Now, what this did was it resulted in the population being at like 8,000 strong, even after excessive hunting during British colonialism, to come down all the way to 200 by 1966. Now, this was something that alarmed a lot of conservationists, and this led to the government 10 years later officially declaring it a national park. So, and then, after that in 1980, I think, doubling the size of the national park. So it was earlier about 17 square kilometers, and it was really tiny. I think it was only like some part of the north area that is now, and then now they expanded it all the way to 35. And it's a very important birding site as well, and it's declared such by the International Bird Association, if I'm not mistaken. So right now the population has bounced back. So the blackbuck population is around 3,500, 3,400, which is good. But considering that it's all concentrated in such a small area, the sustainability of the area is always like something that conservationists are worried about. But we do see blackbuck populations moving outside into some of the farmland and getting into other protected areas as well. So another thing about Velavadar, and what I think I recommend to anyone who goes there, is that don't only do Velavadar. If you're going to Gujarat, if you're going to that certain part of Gujarat, do the Little Run of Kutch, there are a couple of bird sanctuaries along the way, Nal Sarovar for one. Do those, because there is a lot to see in this park. But then after 4 to 5 to maybe even 10 days, you start seeing the same thing over and over again. So for that matter, I think other than if you're coming only for birds, because there's plenty of birds here, you should move on to like seeing the wild asses in Little Run of Kutch, or going to some of the bird sanctuaries, because this is a grassland, so the birds will be more shrub-like. Even in the wetland, there'll be wetland birds. But if you want to see, like somewhat thick forests, then I think like Nal Sarovar is a huge lake, so that's also a good option. But if you go a little south and you start hitting the mango orchards, etc., over there you start seeing a lot of paradise flycatchers and a lot of the birds that like the tropical surroundings. So yeah, so I'll talk about the mammals now. The blackbuck is the main antelope that they are protecting in this park. That's why its name is the Blackbuck National Park. it is least concern according to the IUCN Red List, but in the Indian, when India created the Wildlife Protection Act, it is listed as endangered. So that really prevents hunting, exploiting of the animal. And this is the largest black buck population center in all of the world, probably in them, like local, because you see black bucks being exported to like Texas, etc., for hunting purposes. So that is something I'm not going to talk about. Then their breeding season is October and February. That's why I recommended October to February as a good time to go, because then you can get not only the black bucks, but you can also get the harriers. Breeding season as well as the harriers. Then, so the jumping action, which is what a lot of wildlife photographers go to photograph, which I've got, like, which my brother got a really good picture of. That's the pronging action of them jumping. That is something that is unique to the black buck, and it really does lead to them evading a lot of predators. So, like I said, it's the 5th fastest land animal, and it can reach up to 80 kilometers an hour. So that's pretty cool. And the cheetah reaches 90 kilometers an hour. So then we have the nilgai. That's the biggest antelope in Asia, and you see a lot of these guys just walking around solitarily in between black buck herds over there. So this picture really stuck out to me because it looks like he's smiling. So he or she is smiling. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, sorry, there seems to be some error. Sorry about that. There's some technical difficulties. It's not loading the next page. Just give me a second. Yeah, sorry about that. There's some technical difficulty. I'm not being able to load the next page. Sorry about that. It's difficult. Really sorry about that. Just give me a second.
You probably do a relaunch of your PowerPoint. Shut it and start again.
Yeah, one second. Okay, so yeah. So we were at the Indian Wolf. Yeah. Can everyone see the PowerPoint? Nick, Uncle, can you just tell me if you can see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, it's looking good now.
So then we have the Indian wolf. So this is the apex predator of the park, and it's also the primary predator. So it's this version of the wolf. So this Indian wolf, which is a descendant of the gray wolf. Like if you see other subspecies of wolves, they normally hunt in packs and are in packs. This is largely solitary, and it just hangs out alone or in pairs along the park. So this was actually just outside the entrance. We saw this on a small man-made lake that the forest department had made, and he was just sitting around that. And the summer is the best time to spot the wolf if you want to spot the wolf. Even the striped hyena, best time.
करना उसको रिफ्रेश करना पड़ेगा रुको मैं देख नहीं रही हूँ
Kyra, You need
Hyena,
to
put
be
your mic off.
on.
Vihaan, you as the host can put her mic off also.
Yeah, I'm not being able to do that because I'm screen sharing, but that's fine. Anyways, so summer is the best time to spot both the Indian wolf, as well as the striped hyena, because it is easier for you to spot them. They also come near water holes. So that's when I went. Fortunately, I got to see the wolf and a lot of the jungle cat, but I did not get to see many of the raptors because of the time of the year I went. Then there's the jungle cat. So it is solitary, it's elusive. You hardly see this according to guides over there. We ended up in 3 days seeing almost 10. So we got extremely lucky about that. But like you can see, he was just sitting on the side of the road. He got up, sauntered off, and they're pretty cool. So that was interesting to see that there's a healthy rat and hare population if there are so many being spotted. Then so the image of the striped hyena, golden jackal, and the Indian fox are not by me. Just putting it out there. So the striped hyena is also something that you can see over there in the park, and it's one of the best places to spot the striped hyena. Even though we didn't see it, I've always wanted to see it. So the next time I go, I will probably go and see it. Go solely to see it. And then we have the golden jackal, of course. So I have a picture of the golden jackals, but because the grass reaches so high, you can hardly see the jackal. It's just sitting inside. Then you have the Indian grey mongoose. So yeah, like I forgot to tell you about this, but there's plenty of accommodation around the park. So there are a couple of forest lodges. There's the Blackbuck lodge as well. I recommend the Blackbuck lodge just because their guides are really good and they know the park inside and out. So the mongoose, the Indian grey mongoose, I saw it outside the room I was staying in. So it's amazing to see it just like walking around there. Then you have the Indian fox as well, which is very hard to see. Primarily nocturnal, so hardly anyone's seen it in the park. Then there are 140 different species of birds, more than 140 species of birds that are in the park, as well as a lot more that come as migratory in the October-November season. So like, for example, you have the yellow wagtail, you have the Eurasian thick-knee, then you have the green bee-eater as well. They're all just sitting on the side of the road. So they really like that area because it's a little, there's shrubs on the sides of the road and there's just the road in the middle. So that's a little open. Then we have, this spotted owlet. It's really a common bird, but this one has a character because she is the only, like, as soon as you enter the park, there's this pillar and she has a nest in that. So that is this spotted owlet is something that you should look towards because it's almost guaranteed you'll see it. Then you have like, if you go to the south side of the park, then you have more of the wetlands. And that's where I saw the wire-tailed swallow. There's the plovers, and then you also see the common crane as well. Then raptors, so it's like an ideal spot for raptors. People go there just for raptors. And it's just because it's so open. If you can see, there are 2 raptors sitting inside the grass. Now, we went in a season where the grass had grown quite significantly. The forest department the next month or 2 was going to, start controlled fires just to get the grass a little lower because it had reached really high. And if you can see, there are 2 like imperial eagles just sitting inside the grass and you can't even see them. So that's just like, you can just see eagles like in the other picture here. It's just sitting and it's very easy to spot them. Then you have, all of these pictures are not taken by me. So you have almost 1,500 plus harriers that come to roost in the winter months from Central Europe and Russia. It is the world's largest roosting site for the Montagu's harrier. So if you want to see the Montagu's harrier, this is the place to come. They are predators of locusts. So now we're hearing about the locust outbreaks, etc. So these harriers actually help control them because the farmers also love them around the area. So That's why they're not opposed to having the park. And because they just decimate the locust population, so there's no possible threat to farms and farmland. So I'll just go through the 5 different species of harriers that come there. So there's the Western Marsh Harrier, there's the Pallid Harrier, Montagu's Harrier, Pied Harrier, and then the Hen Harrier. So the Pied Harrier is something that I really want to see. I haven't seen it as yet. So endangered birds. So this is one of the very good spots to see the Bengal florican. I haven't seen it. I can't say I have. There are less than 50 individuals. You can see it jumping in the air, doing its mating ritual, or, but it's very rare to see. So I can't give any guarantees about that. Then you have the Hubura bustard. I haven't seen it in the park, but I did see it in the UAE where they've done the reintroduction efforts, etc. So that is just something else to look out for. Then you have this, I am not even going to, attempt to pronounce that word, Stolinska, I think. It's the Stolinska's bush cat, which is also endangered and is found all over the park. So look out for that. And it's endemic, I think, to India. There are also endangered vultures that you see all over India. So that's also something to look out for. Okay, so we come to our quiz section. If you have your answers, just put them onto the chat. Then after that, we'll have a true and false sessions. And then after that, I will tell you about the tree plantation we're doing. And then after that, you can ask me some questions. So the first question is, when is the Blackbuck breeding season? So there are 2 seasons. So if you can just put that in the chat. I don't know how to see the chat as I am. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah.
I'll probably help you read it. So we have many people who answered. The first one who answers Bhavya. Bhavya says October to November. Ishayu says October to Feb. Kirti, Vadan, Ruchi have all said October to Feb.
It's not October to Feb, it's October and February. So there's 2 different things. October and February are the breeding seasons for the Blackbuck in the park. Yeah. Then you have, what is the fastest the Blackbuck can run? So if you can give it in kilometers per hour, that will be ideal.
Okay. So quick answers coming. Ishayu again, first one to answer there. 80 km per hour.
That's correct.
Bhavya, Vardhan, Ruchi, all are saying 80 km per hour. 80. Kirti also said 80.
That's correct. Then what are the 5 species of harriers that visit during the migratory season? So I just talked about this. If you name all 5, really, kudos to you.
All 5 you have to name, right?
Yeah.
Bhavya, give all the names. I'm waiting for someone to give all the 5 names together. So far, we have 2 from Bhavya and 2 names coming in from Rucha.
So we have Pied Harrier, Montagu, and Hen Harrier. 3 that people have identified.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just give the answer now. Yeah, and Kirti said the Pallid Harrier as well. Yeah.
Okay, Vedant has got the names.
Yeah, Vedant, you've got all of them. No, there's no swamp and marsh. There's no swamp and marsh harrier that comes.
Now everybody is doing guesswork.
I'll just give the answer before you guys get confused. So the first one is the Montagu's Harrier. Then Montagu's Harrier. Then you have the Pallid Harrier. Then you have the Pied Harrier. You have the Western Marsh Harrier, and then you have the hen. Yeah, hen harrier. So you have these 5 harriers that come to the park every migratory season. So, question: why do farmers like having the harriers come? If you can write a one-word answers also. Yeah, Isha,
Okay.
they eat locusts, and that is why farmers love them. And that's the answer. Yeah, farmers like having the harriers as they feed on locusts, which act as pests for their crops, right? Now, the fifth question: how many types of grass, golden grass, are found in the park? Ishayu and Bhavya, both of you are correct. 39 is the answer. There are 39 types of golden grass in the park. Then we come to the true and false section. So if you think it's true, then put it in the chat. If you think it's false, please put it in the chat. So the Indian blackbuck is the second fastest land animal. And okay, if you say it's false, then give your what is the correct answer as well, along with it. Yeah, Ishayu, you're correct. It is the 5th fastest. Rucha, you are also correct. It is the 5th fastest land animal, and it is not the 2nd fastest. So that is, the statement is false. True or false? The Maharaja of Bhavnagar hunted with cheetahs. Yes, Bhavya, Rucha, Ishayu, Vardhan, all of you are correct. It is true. The park is 1/8 the size of Ahmedabad. Now, I didn't talk about this, but it was on the slide. And yeah, Ishayu, if it's false, what's the correct answer? 1/6, you're correct. 1/6, it is 1/6 the size of Ahmedabad. Correct.
Excellent. Ishayu's really reading the slides carefully.
Yeah. Okay. The park was created in 1976. Is this true or false? Yeah, this is true. Both Ishayu, Rucha, Bhavya, and Vardhan have got this correct. Yes, it was created in 1976. It was officially called a national park that time. The park is the largest roosting site for the Pallid Harrier. Is this true or false? Bhavya, you are correct. It is false, and it is the largest roosting site, not of the Pallid Harrier, but of the Montagu's Harrier. So that is the answer. And thank you for listening to my presentation. I am done. I will just like to tell you about this initiative. So through One Step Greener, we are doing a tree plantation, an urban tree plantation in the heart of the city, where we're planning to plant more than 1,000 trees. And we would love your support in that. So you can see all the how you can donate, etc. Over there. So if you can take a screenshot, I'll leave this on screen. If you have any questions, this is the time to do it. Please switch on your video and audio and ask me questions. Yeah, and I also forgot to mention that we did a planting last year where we planted more than 300 trees in a Miyawaki style forest. So do we have any questions?
So Vihaan, I have a question. So how recent is your visit to this place, and how old is this experience that you shared with us?
So I've actually gone twice. I went in 2017 and 2018, both in the summer, around March, April. The first time I only went for a day visit, which was not really a good idea. Hardly, like, I went at 12, came out at like 4, don't recommend it. Second time we spent 4 days over there, and it was a lot of fun, and we got to see a lot. So most of what the material I've talked about is come from there. Last year and this year we didn't go there because last year I went to Nagarhole, Kabini. This year we went to Todoba Tiger Reserve. So that's why we did this 2 years ago. But I am planning to go if everything is fine next year as well. In the winter this time, so that I can see the harriers.
Fantastic. So we should plan a trip with the Can Club. I'm definitely keen to go. So we have some more questions coming for you. Some of the cuckoos are keen to support the tree plantation. Vedant said that they did last year. Fabulous, Vedant. Ishayu has a question. Are blackbucks only found in India? He is asking.
So they're endemic to India. So they naturally occur in India. They are found a little bit in Pakistan as well, but that is mostly migratory populations. They have been exported as hunting to Texas in the US and certain other Western countries. But those are controlled populations where the population has increased outside India, but they're just for the purpose of hunting or, trophy collecting, etc. So yes, they're endemic to India, but they have gone outside India as well.
Awesome. So we have Rucha who wants to contribute in planting trees. Thank you, Rucha. Thank you so much. And Nick has a question for everyone. So he's asking, the grasslands in July, August is a breeding ground of which endangered bird? That's a question from Nick Uncle to the cuckoos. Who's going to answer that? Ishayu, is that your answer? Bengal floricle? Okay.
So Ishayu.
Awesome. Okay. So any more questions?
And yes, Ishayu, I meant the Indian subcontinent. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, I think no questions, it seems, that we have. We'll just wait another couple of minutes. So fabulous. I think we conclude today's talk. Thank you so much, Vihaan. That was fantastic. Definitely love the idea of planning a trip to the Blackbuck National Park. Let's hope 2021 is a great year, void of COVID. We can travel and explore nature. Next week, we have a lot of excitement for the cuckoos. We shall have a talk by Samarth on Saturday, 11 a.m. And on Sunday, we are supporting a quiz and we invite all of you to participate. We'll share details of that as well. So with that, we'll conclude here. In any case, anyone has any questions, doubts, you could reach out to us. Vihaan, something you were saying?
Yeah. So Amrit has a question. I'll just answer that before we conclude. Sure. So what is the difference between the male and female blackbuck? So if you saw in the pictures, the male blackbuck has it's black all the way till its belly where it's white, whereas the female blackbuck is a lightish brown. So that is the difference, and they don't have the spider-like horns like the male blackbuck. So I'm not sure about the exact number, but it's around 30 inches. That's how long their horns grow. So yeah, and just another thing that I wanted to mention about the park is that it's lesser known, so a lot of people don't know about it. So most probably when you go to the park, you'll probably be the only jeep inside the park if you go in the non-breeding seasons, etc. And that's a unique experience in itself. Thank you for having me, Janata Auntie. Thank you for the opportunity, all the cuckoos.
Thank you so much, Vihaan. All the best, everyone. With this, we conclude. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend ahead.